Francis Ngannou did some major rehabilitation for his career on Saturday when he finishes Curtis Blaydes by first round TKO in their rematch in the UFC Fight Night 141 main event. A absolutely crucial performance for Ngannou's career. He came into this fight in some bad times, of course had all the hype around him in the world going into his title shot against Stipe Miocic at UFC 220 in January, but it's been all downhill from there. He loses that fight, comes back months later, has an absolute stinker against Derek Lewis, and all the pressure was on his shoulders going into this event. Well, he absolutely delivered. Finishes Blaydes in just 45 seconds by TKO. Of course, this was a rematch of their fight from 2016, which Ngannou won by second round TKO due to a doctor's stoppage. He comes back with a absolutely fine performance, leaves no doubt Ngannou is back on track. He desperately needed this performance, and once again, he is a contender in the heavyweight division. I think afterwards, talking about his future, he was pretty realistic about where he fits in this weight class. He knows he needs to do more work in order to get that hype completely back, get that talk about being a title fight competitor once again, and I think he laid out a good plan for himself. He named some potential opponents he could fight, but the one that really stood out to me was a matchup against former champion Junior Dos Santos. Dos Santos, of course, fights Tai Tuivasa on Saturday in the UFC Fight Night 142 main event down in Australia, but I think the winner of that fight against Ngannou makes a ton of sense at the moment. Of course, Ngannou was supposed to fight Dos Santos back when the UFC went to Edmonton. I think if he wins against Tuivasa, that is a fight that is absolutely logical. Two big strikers, two guys that have been scheduled to fight before, and now I think that is the time to do that if Dos Santos wins. But even if he doesn't, Tai Tuivasa would be a very interesting matchup as well. He would have a lot of hype behind him. If he's able to beat Dos Santos, he would still be unbeaten in his career, and I think that would be a huge fight for him as well. So Francis Ngannou back on track, and he is probably keeping a very close look on this UFC Fight Night 142 main event between Dos Santos and Tuivasa, because it could absolutely produce his next opponent.